Welcome to 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews, where we take random movies from Metacritic's 15K Plus movies to randomly watch, whether we like it or not. Hello and welcome to episode 44 of 15K Plus Random Movie Reviews. This is Colin.
And this is Niall.
This is random movie number 31 on Metacritic's all-time movie list. It's Some Like It Hot from 1959. Runs for 2 hours and 1 minute. Metascore of 98. User score of 8.3. Directed by Billy Wilder. He of famous movies.
Yeah, he's got things like The Apartment and some other movies that I haven't seen. So, yeah, they're all reasonably high rated. It's just that they're ancient at this point.
Yeah. Very short summary on Metacritic. When two male musicians witness a mob hit, they flee the state in an all-female band disguised as women, but further complications set in, which describes it very well in one sentence.
Pretty much, yep.
So a bit of a time frame for this. So Marilyn Monroe was pretty much only had maybe 3 or 4 movies after this one. She was in a bit of trouble. We all know about Marilyn Monroe's history, which is very tragic. Drugs, alcohol, maybe.
Yep, all of the above.
Getting involved with a bunch of hoodlums in real life, not just in this movie.
And then JFK.
No, I included him in the hoodlums.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frank Sinatra was around there, and the baseball player, I can't remember his name. But yeah, so if you look up the background of this movie, you'll find a lot of troubles with Marilyn Monroe on set, constantly late, hours late on a daily basis, forgetting her lines, like 20 to 30 takes of simple scenes, finally having to write her lines on a chalkboard. And rumor is that, you can see in certain scenes, her eyes are flitting from left to right as she's reading out the lines written down on the blackboard. So
I read as well that Wilder gave up on a few of the lines and just dubbed them in afterwards.
Yeah. There was something about she was looking in the drawer
for brandy, wasn't it?
Yeah, near the end, bourbon. Yeah. So that was, I forgot I read about that, and then that scene was near the end. So so we have a sort of, as all 50s movies intro is, you get the titles and you don't get a preview or a prelude. You pretty much get that 50s swing band intro over the many people involved in the movie. And we get to the first scene of goons in a hearse with a coffin.
I enjoyed this for a car chase from the 1950s. It's pretty intense.
Yeah, he did a good job with this. I was thinking that too.
Yeah, there's daft bits in it, like the shootout and the cops hanging out of the car. That's Keystone Cops kind of tomfoolery. But the cars themselves and the maneuvers they're making are a bit, and really crap cars. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, there's some handling done there, and a lot of, the cops hanging off the cars, very Keystone Cops-esque. Yeah, and the bad shots as well, like stormtroopers as well.
They did shoot the booze, though. I thought that was very unfortunate.
Yeah, they shot through the coffin in the hearse, and of course, it's Prohibition time. It's set in Chicago, 1929. And the hearse finally gets away from the cops, and they pull up to a funeral parlor, take out the coffin, and it's the booze delivery, and
hired goons,
booze delivery. So you're it's a front, basically. It's a funeral parlor at the front for a speakeasy. Yeah. And Spats Columbo is the
great name
because he wears spats. Yeah. So he's involved in it, and so we see there's a couple of detectives outside, and he's about to go in and go. He's got this inside goon who's giving him all the thing.
Mole. What was his name? Oh, Toothpick.
Oh, that's it. Yeah,
Joey Toothpick.
Joey Toothpick. Yeah. So he's an important small character because he comes up later and is the impetus for the Nuns on the Run escapade.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So the cop goes over and he's been given the whole, I'm here for my granny's funeral. I'm a pallbearer, and that gets him a front row seat. And he goes, "Yeah, give me a whiskey." And the guy goes, "No, we only serve coffee here. Irish coffee, Jamaican
Scotch
coffee."
coffee.
Yeah,
I'll have a Scotch coffee then, please.
yeah.
Some ice.
So yeah, so the band plays. There's a couple of, what do you call them? Gaga girls or go-go girls on the stage. Gaga, Goo Gaga. Yeah,
Yes, children.
yeah. So we see
Uh,
Lemmon and Curtis, Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis as the band members. They're playing double bass and sax, and you can tell like they're in between songs, or actually they start talking as the song
yeah,
plays.
they just give up on the song and just chat
Yeah,
away about what they're going to do with their money, which I thought was humorous. I think it's intentionally stupid.
I thought it was very much like Dumb and Dumber and setting it
Yeah.
up. Like the two of them are in money issues, nothing's going well for them, and Curtis is just going, "Let's put all our stuff on the bookies tomorrow." And
You're
Jack,
dead set. 10-1. Definitely going to win.
yeah. So that's Joe and Jerry, and so yeah, it just reminded me, and especially Jack Lemmon's character Jerry, very facial reactionary, like Jim Carrey as well.
I have a sneaky suspicion that Mr. Carey may have been a Lemmon fan when he was a kid.
I looked it up. I searched it up, and there was no connections. I asked ChatGPT, "Is there any sort of strong, concrete connection?" Quotes from Jim
He's never said
Carrey.
it.
No, he's never said it out loud, and he has mentioned. I've forgotten now. There were some other people from that time period, that he got influenced by, but this wasn't one.
Oh, okay. You can definitely see the facial expressions, as you say. It's very plastic. Not it's malleable
Yes.
face.
And I texted you today because I still can't figure out what he reminds me of. So
Metroland, maybe, was it? I was trying to think of it as well.
No,
Where he was
no,
gomless,
no.
look off into the distance.
No, because throughout the entire movie, Jack Lemmon does this. He says a quip or a line, and he opens his mouth and goes, like So it's very, and I thought it was the Grim Reaper in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
Yeah, I can see that. But
Yeah,
no,
because he does a couple of laughs, but there is a character in a movie or a TV show. I'm guessing it's a movie where it just totally said, "Oh my god, that's." But for all day, I just can't remember what it is. Basically,
hopefully it pops up in one of our random movies in the future.
yeah, or I'll just remember it, random during this discussion. All right, so I also had to get a quote here that came up in Seinfeld, because he was mentioning he's a real mudder as the horse that comes up in Seinfeld. His mother was a mudder. Anyway,
oh, okay.
yeah,
I haven't seen that.
No. Okay, so there's raids going on, and they come in and they scarp her, and everybody else gets chucked into the back of the paddy wagon, including that little stool pigeon booze guy that was roaming around the scene. Do you know him? He came in.
Oh yeah, I want a coffee.
Yeah, exactly.
He gets kicked out of the speakeasy for spilling brandy or whiskey on Spats.
Spats, yeah. Yeah, so Spats Columbo's in there with his hired goons, and the cop goes up and goes,
drinking milk.
Yeah, he's going. The cop's going, "Yeah, got yourself a good lawyer." And he said, "Yeah, these are my lawyers." And so,
Yeah,
he obviously gets away with it, I'm guessing, Spats, because he's free and easy when the next time we see him.
Yep.
So
the next for the funeral.
Yeah. So the next day, Jerry and Joe are searching the musical agents' offices, and Polyakov, they're looking for two girls, and the receptionist is going, "Yeah, go on in there, looking for two musicians," and sort of sets them up in a sort of a gentle pun or whatever. But in the end of the day, that receptionist gives them her car to go to.
Well, this is actually what they do. Is originally they turn it down because they're like, "No, we don't want to be women. but they do get a gig. I can't remember which state. Like, was it New York or something?
Yeah, it was up
No, 100
north.
miles away or something. I can't remember where it was, but they
Yeah.
had a drive to it. Obviously, these bums don't have their own transportation.
No, no dog van.
No dog van, unfortunately, or little motorbike.
Because they were like, it's Jerry that goes, Jack Lemmon's character that goes, yeah, we can do that, and Joe's like going, no, are you crazy? But then when they get into trouble in a little bit, it's Joe that's going, yeah, we need to do this. We need to dress up as women and go to Florida quickly.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're on their way to pick up the car in the car park or dodgy
On
car
Valentine's Day.
Oh, Valentine's Day Massacre, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of goons in there, and then they're getting the car, and another Dumb and Dumber reference happens as well. Do you know what I'm talking about? So basically, the other goons come in and they shoot the shit out of the goons that were playing poker, and that's what
McGee or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Toothpick McGee, and so Jerry and Joe see that, and of course the petrol starts flooding out of the car, just like in Dumb and Dumber.
Oh yeah.
For God's sake, just give me that goddamn number.
Nobody's leg goes on fire in this one, unfortunately.
No. So basically, yeah, they're about to get shot as well, Jerry and Joe, because they find them. And Toothpick just suddenly just reaches for the phone, and that this causes enough of a distraction to get the hell out of there.
Yep, the lads panic and leg it down the road into a tobacceria or whatever the hell it's called. And Curtis then has an idea. He says, right, give me a quarter or a nickel. I need to make a phone call. And he calls the agency again and says, you know that job in Florida? Yeah, we'll take it. But he puts on his lady accent.
Yeah.
Which is actually quite convincing.
Yeah, they do a good job. And then we have the kind of sort of famous walk to the train for them both, as we've focused on their high heels. Well, the Marilyn one comes a little bit later, but it's them first walking towards it, like in their wobbly heels. And I read in IMDb that's Tony Curtis wanted training and Jack Lemmon didn't, because he wanted to walk like a man in heels, basically.
Yeah, which he was, whereas Curtis was bang on.
Yeah. So so they're basically joining up with all the ladies, and then that's quite a famous scene. But the next scene is equally as famous, when Marilyn Monroe walks into shot, and then
she gets tooted by the train.
Yeah, it's a great shot. It's a nice,
so iconic.
Yeah, very iconic. And I kind of knew it was coming. Like, I knew it was in the movie, so it was like, yeah. So yeah, she's good, and then they all head into the. There's actually, I laughed. I didn't laugh too much during the movie because a lot of the jokes are very 50s and quite, I don't know, normal.
Yeah, a little bit more tame than we'd be used to now. Even though this movie was banned in at least one state in America, but the jokes are quite tame. Yeah. There was a couple of jokes that I found quite humorous. I don't know if you. I shouldn't, as an adult nowadays, I shouldn't have laughed at the polo joke. We can get into that later.
I like the way
water polo joke.
Oh yeah. I like the way the agent guy, what's his name, Bloomfeld or Beanstalk.
Yeah.
It's like the servant. So he's at the door, and I think Tony Curtis slips up, and Beanstalk puts his hands on his butt and goes, "Oopsie daisy." I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah,
and he goes fresh or something like that to him. I thought that was funny. So then, they're heading to the toilet because Joe keeps bursting Jerry's chests, as they put it.
Yeah, he keeps on unraveling his bindings.
Yeah, and then we see Sugarcane, who is Marilyn Monroe, boozing from a hip flask from her hip, obviously. So there's a lot of... I was quite surprised at how sort of risque a lot of the shots were of Marilyn's body, to put it frankly. It's quite apparent that she was, she was in the movie for, obviously, her fame, but also her assets, let's put it that way.
Like she gets top billing in this as well, and it's very intentional. that her assets are possibly the biggest selling point over and above of Curtis's and Lemmon's acting and comedy skills.
Yeah, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and I think it was very risque when it was released. There was a lot of sort of critical. Well, I think it was overall loved as a movie when it came out, but I think it was well noted for its risque, some risque jokes, and obviously as well a lot of risque sort of outfits as well when it came to Marilyn's wardrobe.
Oh,
So
absolutely, yeah.
yeah, so yeah, so she's boozing from a hip flask. There's band practice, which is quite fun, and yeah, Jack Lemmon sort of gurning it up when swinging the double bass.
Yeah, I love that bit actually because at the start they're like, "Oh God, can't be arsed with this," and they're just barely playing the instruments. But then the lady what runs the band gives them some sticks, throw some funk into it or whatever the equivalent of the 1950s version of that is.
Yeah, yeah.
And they go for it, and it's quite funny. The expression on his face as he's spinning the bass is hilarious.
It's very Jim Carrey-esque.
It is, isn't it?
But yeah, he obviously did it first, Jack Lemmon. So
Yeah.
you have to give him plaudits here. Yeah, so he gets a lot of laughs and titters from his facial expressions when the lines aren't hitting, when the jokes aren't hitting for me. Then I'm smiling at his facial expressions. So Marilyn has a little running wild song here with her ukulele, and that's quite nice, but appropriate for her personal life away from the movie as well.
Yeah.
And her hip flask falls, and Jerry takes the blame for it.
He takes the fall, which endears Marilyn's character to Daphne.
Yes, yeah, Daphne, of course. It's Daphne and Josephine now. So Jerry has turned into Daphne and Joe is Josephine. So they have it was quite a fun party in Upper 7.
Yeah. That did make me chuckle, all right. And at the start of the party, it's just Daphne and Monroe, and he's like, "Oh yeah, this is gonna be a party, all right."
I like this, yeah.
Yeah.
But I like this actually. Before the party happened, Josephine and Daphne are sort of talking to each other, and Tony Curtis is just saying, "Just repeat after me. I'm a girl. I'm a girl. I'm a girl." And that kind of comes back later on. And also the what the hell is that? The Sweet Sue, the band leader, she's saying to Beanstalk, "There's something funny about those two girls," but that never comes back up.
Yeah, I thought because then Beanstalk says, "Yeah, I'll keep an eye on them," but he clearly doesn't.
No, he never does. Sugar doesn't play any part in the rest of the movie, and neither does Beanstalk, apart from that Joe steals Beanstalk's suitcase so he can do another ploy and another mission. There's a party in Upper 7, and then we get to find out that Sugar Cane, Marilyn's character, she likes tenor sax players and glasses and millionaires, and we get that sort of backstory. Okay, all right, so that's what you like.
At this point, is taking notes.
Yes, yeah. And then sort of so Daphne gets into a tickle fight, and
That's right.
pulls the emergency brake because they were getting close to the
they might have found out wait a second, you're not supposed to have one of those.
Yeah. or none of those.
Yeah.
So the train pulls to a standstill, and Sugar and Sweet Sue yells out, "Beanstalk!"
Yeah.
So anyway, they reach Miami, and there's a bunch of old guys outside, and of course Mr. Fielding is there, and he likes Daphne.
Oh, he does.
Zowie.
Yeah, he's a bit of a caricature, but I kind of like the character of Fielding in this. It's kind of turned up to 11. It's really stupid, but it's a bit simple and naive, and I like it. I like him in it.
Yeah, he's good, and he's harmless as well, really. And he's obviously going after a lady, but he's pretty pretty harmless as a character. He's not sort of obnoxious or anything. He's got a rubber face as well, which is
He does very
fun.
that huge smile he has on.
Yeah. And he has the last line in the movie, and a lot of people say the most famous line ever in movie history.
Yeah, I was quite surprised by that line, to be honest. From 1959, it does, nobody's perfect. It's like what? We can get into that later, but it's shocking for the time.
Well, that's it though. Like you see, like it's cross dressing. It's groundbreaking and daring for its time to have it in there, and then to have that sort of nod alluding to, well, he doesn't mind being with another man,
Yeah, I'm talking about not gay marriage, but man-to-man marriage, and he's like, yeah, that doesn't upset me.
Yeah, it's good for what it did back in the day, and it still stands out as a sort of a interesting movie in cinema history.
I went through it all. I couldn't find anywhere where anybody called it woke.
No. Maybe if it came out today.
Boycott it now. Oh, this woke crap. It's horrible. Ah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so Sugar and Geraldine meet at the beach. No, who's Geraldine?
Geraldine was what Daphne was supposed to be called.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Daphne meets Sugar at the beach, and they play around and have a few sports games, and Jerry / Daphne is going, oh, that could be. This is getting nice, isn't it?
Yeah, I was I was a bit surprised that he decided to get into the water with his dodgy outfit because
fabric sticks.
Yeah. But he gets away with it.
He must have had significant shrinkage.
Yeah, but as my wife rightly pointed out, that the onesie bathing suit they were wearing, all of them were all sort of ruffled around that area, so it kind of disguises certain packages.
Yeah, I was just wondering what the chest area was like. What were they using for that, and how did that not get
that's
dislodged?
The one that surprises me the most. Considering it took Curtis just a couple of nudges to.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, his bindings.
Yeah, so Tony Curtis, Joe / Josephine, has all this information about sugarcane and what she likes in a man. So he's
and a new suitcase.
Yeah, so he's stolen Beanstalk's suitcase, his stuff, and he's dressed up as this toity sailor dude, and he's got this sort of faux British accent on.
So he's playing. I had to Google this accent because I thought it was too interesting not to Google it. And the director in Mr. Cary Grant was the influenced on this. Wilder asked him to just, can you do a Cary Grant? Anyway, yeah, I'll give it a go. And director loved it.
Yeah,
stuck in.
Well, there you go. So he's playing all aloof to Sugarcane and sort of feeding her little tidbits of what she wants to hear.
With his huge glasses on. And
yeah, and his Cary Grant accent. And this is where...
his bag of shells.
His bag, yeah. I like to collect shells. Yeah.
Because of the company. Shell Oil.
Shell Oil. You're an oil boy? So then, she's... talking about hot jazz, and this is where the name of the movie comes in. Some like it hot.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. So, of course, Jack Lemmon recognizes Tony Curtis.
Not impressed at this
Not
point.
Not impressed. So he's...
he runs back to the room with... Marilyn in tow, so as to catch him coming out of his outfit.
I liked his throwaway line when he left, though. He went, "Bring your yacht." That was fun. Yeah. That was fun. So anyway, they get back to
yacht.
They get back to the room, and he fully expects Joe not to be there, but he's in the bath. He's in the bath as her.
Yes.
Joe is in the bath as Josephine.
It's super confusing. Yes.
It's so confusing because they're playing so many different characters in the actual plot.
Yeah, and later on they changed outfit in like 3 times in 5 minutes when they're. We won't get into it now, but it is quite confusing.
Yeah, well, like Tony Curtis plays 3 characters, Jack Lemmon plays 2. So they're constantly, and when you're reviewing something like this, you kind of have to change it up with their names as they go along. Might just say Curtis and Lemmon when it makes sense. So yeah, he's fully in full sailor's uniform that he was in. So Mr. Fielding wants Daphne on his yacht after the show. That's
they get a ship to shore call.
Yes.
It's received by Mr. Curtis, and he's like, "Oh, of course, yeah, she'll be there, yeah."
So his wheels are turning. He's like, I could have used that to woo Sugar. I could probably steal that sort of setup there. And it works in the next scene. So, Marilyn Monroe with a nice famous I Want to Be Loved by You song, which is quite okay. Then Mr.
Extremely iconic.
That
word again.
Yeah. So Mr. Fielding's in the crowd and gives up some flowers to Daphne. But, of course, Curtis is like going, yoinks, I'll take that.
They look expensive.
I'll write a little note and, because Shell Oil Man said he would be in the crowd, but she's looking around for him. He's not there, but he sent flowers, which was nice.
Curtis is smooth.
Yeah. So he's like, meet me on the yacht tonight. And then he's going to Jack Lemmon. Yeah, I could take him out for dancing or whatever. He'll be fine. I'll take the yacht.
In fairness to Lemmon's character, he really takes one for the team on this one.
Yeah, he does actually. Yeah. So he rushes out to the yacht to the pier and gets there just in time for Sugar to get there and can't work the boat, so he goes in reverse, which is quite funny.
It is. It's hilarious, actually. It's out of petrol. That's really funny for an oil man. Oh, I'm going backwards.
Don't mind going backwards there, yeah.
Yeah.
So we get to that. So you get to the next scene, and it's kind of funny because he doesn't know where anything is. So he's checking different doors for he opens a wardrobe, and that's the parlor. Yeah, let's go in there. So they have some champagne, and he's really laying it on thick. He's frigid. He doesn't get turned on by anything anymore. He tells the tale of his Princeton girlfriend,
the harrowing tale of his short-sighted girlfriend, and him being short-sighted as well, leads to disaster.
Yeah. So we get a whole, Marilyn's going, well, I'm going to fix you, basically. So that involves, gave him a couple of glasses of champagne, turned the lights down, put on some music, and kissed him probably 5 or 6 times. And so that's kind of working. I
feel a tingle in my toes.
Yeah. So then it just pretty much, it's actually quite a good scene because it cuts in between that sort of necking session, and then Daphne and Mr. Fielding dancing the tango.
Cuban tango, yeah.
It's like, you're leading again, Daphne. Yeah.
Well, question for you on this. In the previous scene, they mentioned a couple of times French upstairs girls. I haven't Googled it because I was scared of what would happen. But I didn't get the reference. Was it like French maid or
who said it?
Curtis says it that several French upstairs girls were hired to try and fix him.
Oh, well, I'm guessing. Yeah, I just took that for granted. It was the ladies of the night.
And actually, the previous line just before that, it's because when he says the two on his failed relationship, the one that made him frigid, where they took off their glasses and they were standing near, I don't know, a cliff, and obviously implies that she falls off. And he says, "Oh yeah, it took 8 hours for the mule to bring her up," which I love.
Yeah, I think Wilder's is used for he gets those little one-liners in that are sort of throwaways,
Yeah.
It's sort of something that characterizes his writing, I think. So I think we get to the point where they're back in the room, and Jerry's kind of going, "Yeah, I'm engaged to Mr. Fielding."
Yeah, Daphne is quite happy, and she's there with her maracas still going.
Oh yeah. That was I read that was ad-libbed. That was not
was it?
Not ad-libbed. What do you call it? It was
Improvised.
Improvise, that's the word. Yeah, yeah. And Wilder liked it, and actually, no, there was something about the audience was laughing so much at it in the test audience they had to add some dialogue or something after it or something to sort of gap it out or something. It was interesting. So
I thought it was a nice little twist to the story that he'd been absolutely dreading his date with Mr. Fielding, Mr. Osgood Fielding,
yeah,
and
it looked like he had a
after he
good
was like,
time.
"Yeah, I had a great time. I'm engaged."
That was funny because that whole scene is like Jerry's going, "Have I got things to tell you?" And Joe goes, "What happened?" And he goes, "I'm engaged." And Joe goes, "Congratulations! Who's the lucky girl?" And he goes, "I am."
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wonderful scene. I love this bit. Like it's obviously Curtis is like, no, you can't do that. He's a bloke. You're a bloke. Ain't gonna work. There's laws. But then he sees the bracelet with diamonds in it, and he's like, oh, wait a second.
Yeah, he says, yeah, he's good. And he goes, "Oh, these are real diamonds." And Jerry goes, "Of course they're real. What do you think? My fiance's a bum."
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah, and it's only when you start reading the sort of quotes, it's like going, "Yeah, they're quite clever." You know, you don't expect that sort of,
Dialogue
depth
from the 50s.
Yeah, and we're not being ageist or anything, but I don't have a lot of 50s comedy movies in my list of things to watch.
True that.
So we have Spats arriving for the Friends of Italian Opera conference, which I found funny.
Quite on the nose. It's been done in the. I think that's been done in The Simpsons like 4 or 5 times. Like like official or honest Italian business owners and stuff like that. Banners up in the hotel.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I can imagine that being a very Simpson-esque joke. So we see the coppers there too, and then we see the elevator scene because Joe and Jerry are dressed as Daphne and Josephine, and Spats and his goons come in and goes, "Hey, right, don't we know you? We ever up in Chicago?"
Wouldn't be found dead in Chicago.
Pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So they were rushing into their room saying, "Let's get the hell out of here." Packing up.
Yep. They decide to take the bracelet and leg it, but then Curtis's character starts feeling bad about what he's done to
leaving Sugar.
Marilyn. Yeah, Sugar. So he calls her up, ship to shore, says, "Sorry, we gotta leave. I have to marry some Venezuelan girl for a merger."
Yeah.
Or something. I'm sorry, it's just big finance. Yeah, I can't explain it, but you wouldn't understand it.
Yeah, so
but he sends her some flowers, and when Daphne is in the other room, he nicks the bracelet and sticks it in as a parting gift.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shit move from him.
Oh, I would have been absolutely livid. That was going to keep them alive.
Yeah,
to buy all the bananas down in South America.
Yeah. So so obviously Sugar comes in quite distraught, and this is, I think, where they dubbed her dialogue, where she's looking for drinking bourbon out of a hot water bottle, which is interesting sort of scene. And so they're like going, "All right, we need to get the hell out of here," and they start, "We're not going to go down to the lobby, let's climb out the window," which
is an unusual decision.
yeah
because they are in disguise and they haven't been identified.
True.
And it sort of goes all wrong.
Yeah, it's very Dumb and Dumber move. So they just land on top of them, and they go.
Yeah, then one story, and unfortunately, the mafiosa lads that are looking for them are in the room right beneath them, and as they basically fall into their balcony with a bass, and they're thinking, "Wait a second, aren't we looking for somebody with a bass and a sax?"
Yeah.
And there's holes in the base where they shot it.
Yeah.
They're like, "Wait a second, they ain't no dames.
Get them, boys."
And then the goon chase begins.
Yeah, the goon chase. And so they get a bit of another switcheroo where they dress as a bellhop and the guy in the wheelchair, but they just don't get very far with that. It's ridiculous because they kept their bloody high heel shoes on.
Well, in fairness, they had like 30 seconds to make the change.
Yeah, I was like, if they were named characters, we'd have to remember those names too. But thankfully, they weren't.
Yeah,
So anyway, they get out. They change to be. They go up and change into women's dresses again, don't they?
they do. They do.
They find their way and they're running around again.
Oh no! Wait a second. They've changed back into women's dresses after the cake incident. So the only people that had seen them was Spats and his buddies.
Yes,
But there's a
yeah,
birthday party given to Spats by the Bonaparte character, the leader of the mafiosa in
yeah.
America.
But it's after the bellhop and wheelchair, though. They change the
It
woman's and
is.
then they go and under the table of the birthday party. You
No,
think
no, they
they're
change that. They change into the ladies' clothes after that because nobody else has seen them as ladies.
okay? So they're dressed up as
So there's
blokes
another
then.
change of clothes. So there's
It's crazy. It's crazy.
yeah,
It's quite a rapid pace. Yeah. So this is a good birthday party scene for the mafioso. Special birthday cake. So they've got a dude hiding in the birthday cake that's going to off spats, and don't. Yeah. So it's interesting because there's sort of a um, what do you call them? Bloody World War II Italian dude. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with my brain?
Bonaparte. What?
No, Hitler and Mussolini.
Mussolini. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, so this guy totally reminded me of Mussolini. He's standing up and he's got like a
Oh yeah. With
he's
the
got
hearing aid thing and
yeah, and so there's a 1 minute silence for the people that Spats killed. So they all sit down and they say stand up, Spats. So they reluctantly stand up. And then he's laying into Spats. He's saying, going, some people would say Spats, blah blah blah, but I thought that was quite good. There was a couple of times he did that. And then he's like, well, it's your birthday. It's not my birthday for 3 months.
it is now. Here's your cake.
Yeah. And then, for he's a jolly good fellow for nobody, which nobody can deny. And that's the cue to shoot the crap out of Spats and his hired goons.
In fairness, if Spats hadn't copped, he was about to die at this point. He's an idiot.
Well, he's an idiot then because he didn't cop.
He didn't cop it. It was pretty bloody obvious.
Yeah.
I did have an issue, like, not that it really matters in this movie, but pretty much every one of the mafia guys were brutally acted.
Oh, the goons.
The goons, Spats, Toothpick Malone, or whatever his name was, and even Bonaparte. He might have been the best of them, but he was still a bit weak. I guess it was the dialogue they'd been given because they're tertiary characters. They don't really matter in the story. It feels incidental, other than excuses for the lads to dress up in different clothes.
Yeah.
Minor gripe.
No, that's fine. That's fine. My minor gripe is that that Jerry and Joe run out of the table before
anybody notices
else.
them. Yeah, you
Yeah,
could have just stayed there.
Stay there. Yeah, but they ran away and they were going, "Get up, boys!" And like, Jesus Christ. Then the cops roll in, and what does little Bonaparte say? He says, "The birthday cake didn't agree with him or something."
Yeah, it's a bit of a weak excuse.
Yeah, it's quite a nice soft pun. So yeah, the cops roll in. They're women again. They changed to being women again. They call Mr. Fielding. So yo, we're coming with you.
I need a lift.
Yeah, you need a lift. And then I think Joe goes in to see Marilyn sing one more time, and
yeah, he hears her playing in the basement below, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go down and take a look."
Yeah.
Then he feels really bad, and he runs up and he kisses her for some reason, which obviously breaks his cover.
Yes.
And then more mafiosa chasing.
Yeah, so it's like Josephine. So Marilyn goes, Josephine. And then Susan's going, Beanstalk again for some reason. I don't know why. Oh, it's because the woman ran on stage. Yeah, so they're running down to the pier. And Marilyn's singing Through With Love at that point, which is quite appropriate. Mm-hmm. And Sugar comes running for the boat as well. And Joe is going, what the hell are you doing? And she repeats a line she said at the start of the movie. I'm not very bright. Oh, not in an English accent, though.
Yeah, that'd be weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a nice circular tying up of the movie. It's well done, well constructed at that point. And then we have the conversation between Daphne and Osgood
Osgood Fielding.
Fielding, yes,
Yeah.
where
Well, I
he
have
says,
the.
"Well, I
Yeah, I
can't
have.
marry you. I smoke. Your mum will hate me." And he's like, "I don't mind.
I can never have children. We can
I don't
adopt
mind.
some.
Yeah, I'm a man. Nobody's perfect."
Well, nobody's perfect.
It's a
Smiles.
lovely ending. Then it fades.
Yeah. Lemon is sort of, he just looks to the camera and
Kind of accepting, but also flabbergasted by it.
flabbergasted and confused, and as Osgood Fielding is just smiling away with a joy in his face.
Yep, he's found the woman he loves, even though it's a man.
Yeah. He's like, well, I have a terrible past. For 3 years now, I've been living with a saxophone player. I forgive you.
Yeah, nothing he could say could dissuade Mr. Osgood.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is that Marilyn Monroe had like contract with her whatever production house or whatever to do all her movies in color, but this was shot in black and white, and you know,
I think it was a good decision. I don't know if they did it for artistic reasons or not, but it kind of works.
Yeah. I think it's a well balanced movie. It's got humor throughout. It's got a bit of drama and romance. It doesn't really go over the top with the romance, like some of the traditional 50s sort of capers.
I agree completely. It leans heavily on the comedy, and it stays there, and that's kind of good. It's got, as you say, elements of other stuff, but like the mafia stuff, it's incidental. So bad acting on that side doesn't actually affect the movie all that much, and the romance doesn't really matter that much either. It's more about the interactions between main characters. I suppose the four main characters, if you want to include Mr. Osgood. And the interactions between those guys is great in my opinion, especially between Curtis and Lemmon.
Yeah, they make the entire movie with their interactions and back and forths and sort of
There's one-liners being thrown out, and
and
strange faces being pulled by Lemmon.
Yeah, there's a little bit of conflict between them constantly throughout the movie, and that's as you know is one of the major things that drive a script. So I did try to search for some 1959 reviews, but did not happen. But the plot, first and foremost, I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. It's above average for me. I think I'm probably not giving it enough justice for the time that was released, but I think as a movie plot, it's a sort of interesting, but not overly crazy.
Yeah, it's not super
engaging.
complex or anything like that. Like I put down 2.5 originally, but now that we've been talking about it, and now we're thinking about the time period as well, I'd like to bump that up to 3 as well. Because of its time and because of the comedy they get with a reasonably complex and convoluted story, where the two lads flying across country and dressing up as different people. Yeah, listen, it's a comedy plot, but it's done well.
Yeah. Acting, I just gave above average. I gave 2.75. I thought it was good. It was fine. I didn't gasp at anybody's performances. I thought Jack Lemmon was probably standout for me.
Easily.
Tony Curtis played sort of the straight foil. Even when he was playing Shell Oil Boy, he he had this sort of, I don't know, straight down the middle sort of approach to his performance. I think Jack Lemmon was a little bit more unhinged, a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any other actor from that time period, this movie wouldn't be nearly as good. I think Lemmon really pulls this through with the acting.
Yeah, I think Frank Sinatra was
that would have been shocking.
Penned for
that would have been absolutely terrible. I think he might have been the Curtis character though.
Yeah,
but even I don't think he would have been good at it.
He wouldn't have done it. He's too mafiosa anyway. He's real mafia back in the day.
Yeah, so, dressing up as a lady probably wouldn't be his cup of tea.
No, absolutely not. So acting, I gave 2.75.
I've got 3.25.
3.25. Okay.
I really loved Lemmon in this.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis was okay, as you say, and listen, there's a load of bad acting. There's a load of terrible acting, but it's incidental. It's irrelevant. So I'm mostly basing that on Lemmon.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. He's the standout. I don't think anybody got uh, awards for this, Oscars for it.
We should probably mention Monroe's acting in this as well. It's not terrible. It's just it's obvious at times that she forgets her lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, she's got this sort of, and like I haven't really in depth analyzed her movies at all, and she's got this innocence about her and the character she played in this, which is quite endearing to her.
Very much
But
so.
but I got sort of tired of her sort of breathless way of delivering her sentences. It was very sort of she was sort of that sort of stereotypical breathless damsel,
Well,
that
that's
50s movies have.
unfortunately that's all she has in her acting repertoire, because I've seen her in other stuff and she's kind of the same character. She plays a ditzy blonde who's a bit innocent and naive in the world.
I saw because I just got interested in her ending, and she was halfway through her last movie when she died quite suddenly, and they didn't finish it, and so this movie is 37 minutes released on YouTube, and I watched it all like sort of, and she played, and she was a very interesting character in that. She wasn't ditzy. She was very playing it quite serious as well. It was interesting to see
Oh,
it.
really?
Yeah, but I was just sort of seeing how many movies after this did she die. It's quite sad. Sound brackets track I gave 2.75. I thought a couple of the Marilyn Monroe songs were quite nice, but they're kind of incidental. They don't really play a major part in it. I Want to Be Loved by You is very seminal, but apart from that, it's your usual sort of 50s music.
Yeah, I give you. I think it was the same. Did I write that? Yes, same as that. A lot of it's period stuff that doesn't really stick, but that a couple of songs that Marilyn Monroe actually does kind of brings it up somewhat.
Yeah, it brings it up above average, and that's fine. Yeah, there's only one Oscar winner for it. It was the costume design, which was interesting.
Really? I
Yeah.
missed that.
So
Okay.
yeah, so Jack Lemmon got nominated, but Tony Curtis didn't.
That would be about right. Yeah.
Yeah. And finally, production. I think for the time that it was and the production choices that they made, I gave 3.75 just because I feel like it's an innovative movie for its time. I think the production choices for going with this sort of topic comedy that was not done before, and cut a little bit close to the bone, I'm guessing, for certain religious people back in the 50s.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
I think the production is, it's to be applauded, I think.
I agree. I give it 3. To be honest, I love the production straight from the start. Like that car chase scene at the start was actually incredibly well done for that time. But then, as you say, later on, the choice of shots are quite interesting. The scenes are quite well done. So while it's not going to blow us away from modern cinematography standards, it's more than capable.
Yeah, it was good to dive into it and see what a sort of a well-known Marilyn Monroe movie that has, some people have said, I was looking online today, that's the best ending line in cinema history, which I don't
I'm
think
not
so,
so
but
sure of that.
no,
It's an interesting and funny one, but the best, I don't know.
I'll give that to the Shawshank Redemption.
What's the ending line in Shawshank? Excuse my ignorance.
He says something like, I hope the water is as blue as it is in my dreams.
Okay,
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
Get busy living, get busy dying. That's all I remember from that movie.
It's a good one. All right, Time Magazine gave it 70 out of 100, said lipstick to mascara and tilting at a precarious angle. Actor Lemmon digs out most of the laughs in the script. As for Marilyn, she's been trimmer, slimmer, and sexier in earlier pictures. It's kind of nasty.
That's a bit harsh, all right, isn't it? It's like,
Yeah.
wow, is that what you're commenting on how she looks as opposed to how she acts? That's harsh.
Yeah. Empire magazine, Angie Arrigo says, key to its success, along with its vivid characters and brilliant performances, is the snappy pace throughout. Non-stop gags, invention, twists, and comic incident flow as Joe and Jerry, sexy Curtis, and screamingly funny Lemmon elude mob boss George Raft by wriggling into an all-girl jazz band, with Josephine and Daphne's legendary drag act taking in amorous adventures, seductive deceptions, and madcap pursuits. There's a lot of long sentences in that review, Angie. You need to break it up a little bit.
Stick in a comma, goddammit.
Yeah, there's a lot there. There's a lot of dashes that just made the sentences really long. She gave it 100 out of 100, which...
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's insane how highly rated this movie is, and I enjoyed watching this. It's a good movie. It's a good for a laugh. It's some interesting parts in it. 100 out of 100? No. And what was this rated again? Like 41 or 31?
31.
15K? That's an insane number.
Yes, it is. But who are we to judge?
I thought that was a job.
Exactly. All right, so let's put our woman's clothes in the back in the closet. And
I refuse to put my woman's clothes back in the closet.
And finish off this episode. So here we are. We are about 4 weeks away from Oscar night, the most prestigious and worthless night in movie.
Yeah.
But having said that, there is a lot of best movie winners out there, 95 of them to be exact, and we figured that we would, for the next 4 episodes, pick a random number between 1 and 95 and watch Oscar winners of best movies. And we're quite excited by that because it gives us a bit of quality. But we've got a couple we don't really want, but let's see.
Fingers crossed.
Let's see what happens.
It's
So
not
I'm gonna.
Dances with Wolves.
Well, I'll take it, but there's a couple worse than that. So I'm going to randomize our number now between 1 and 95 and see what we get. The number is 49.
Oh, interesting.
Which is The Godfather Part 2 from 1975. So if it was 51, it would be The Godfather from 1973. So that'll be interesting.
Sucky, actually going to jump right in the middle.
Well, here's the deal. So should we watch The Godfather? That's the thing that we should do now. So randomly we got 49, which is Godfather Part 2. However, in the random universe, it makes a lot of sense for us to watch The Godfather first.
I think so. Because it's been an awful long time since I've seen either of these movies.
Same.
And going in cold in a sequence of movies is kind of crappy. It'd be like going into halfway through Lord of the Rings movies.
True. Okay, so I hope our audience will forgive us. So, of course, in the random universe, these things happen. And so, Godfather Part 2, maybe we'll get 49 again. And it'll just be a Godfather.
We'll just keep reviewing The Godfather over and over again.
So, this is 1973's best film Oscar award. So, we will watch The Godfather, which is number 51, as opposed to Godfather Part 2, which is number 49.
It's actually kind of handy that both movies are Oscar winners.
True. So, so we will do that in episode 45, and we will continue that for the next 4 weeks in the run-up to Oscars 2024. And we will see you in that episode to watch The Godfather then. Please review and look at all our other social media accounts, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, we're YouTube, everywhere. Every podcast platform. Review and rate us if you have the time. We'll see you on episode 45. Bye-bye.
Cheerio.